Hello and welcome to the Great American Cross Country Road Race, which is a pretty long title. This came out, well, it says 1985 and released by Activision. I think that was the original Atari 8-bit computer version. You know, the Atari 400, 800 series of computers. I think it came out on 85 then. I think C64 version, well, it was reviewed by Zzap in early 86, I think. So it might have been a bit later by the time it made its way over here in the UK. But the idea is that it's kind of similar to, you know, those Gumball Rally and Cannonball Race films where you've got to race your car over from one side of America to the other. And I guess it's kind of similar to Outrun that came later. So the idea is that you can start, well, you can press F3 here to select which routes, well, not which routes, but which start and finish cities that you want to go for. So we've got LA to New York, Seattle to Miami, and San Francisco to Washington, and then US tour I think is kind of all the stretches of race stuck together. And you can see that takes, well, the record's 81 minutes. That'll take you a while. It's a bit of an endurance test. I don't think I'll do that in this review somehow. But we'll go LA to New York, why not? We'll race this route. And then once you're at the map screen, you start at LA, you see it's flashing there, a little red circle, and you just pick which direction you want to head in. And depending on the stretch of roads, obviously you might have to refuel in between. In fact, it tells you at the bottom how many miles. So we'll go for a fairly short trip. We'll go to Phoenix. Press fire to start, and here we are. Controls pretty simple. Hold down fire to accelerate, then let go fire and push up or down to change gear up or down. That's it. One thing that does annoy me is that there's no on-screen display of what gear you're in, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. You just change up or down depending on whether you want to speed up or slow down, really. But one thing I would say about the game is that you don't have to go flat out. Often you can make more progress just by going slightly faster than all the other traffic. The road routine is, I think it's pretty good actually. I mean, it's fairly simplistic, especially if you compare it to Supercycle or Turbocharged or something. It looks fairly simplistic. There's not a lot of variety in the roadside graphics, but actually I think it's fine, and it does give a good sensation of speed. Most of the variety comes in terms of the horizon graphics. Once you get near a city, they update to, you know, have like a landmark or something associated with the city. So here we go. I can't remember where we're going now, but we're also not too far from the city now. There we go. So there is a time limit in between for each stage, and there is an overall sort of time. But so now we're at Phoenix. We can go to El Paso, or we could go to Las Vegas, but that's doubling back. So we'll head on to El Paso. So you can see I've got 5 minutes 40 seconds now to get there. Right, where it says gas on left, you can see at the bottom left there is the status panel. There is a fuel gauge. You've got to keep an eye on that. Refueling is pretty tricky. You've got to stop right at the gas station. I made it look pretty easy there, but it can be tricky. It's a little challenging, but to be fair, I like it that way. It just throws in a bit more challenge. Even though stopping for petrol or gas, if you're American, but even though stopping that for that shouldn't be a challenge, it is in this game. So, yeah, so I never played this back in the day, but I've seen some guys left some comments in the past and some of my other racing game reviews saying that maybe I should check it out. So I thought I'd give it a go. And at first when I played it I thought, well, that doesn't look too exciting. But having played it for a little bit, it has grown on me, quite a lot. It's just the extra elements like the refueling and the choice of routes, and there's also day and night cycles. and some. There's no point stopping for fuel now. There's also some puddles and things like that, bits of ice on the roads. So I suppose a bit similar to Supercycle in that aspect. When you hit a car or a piece of scenery, it doesn't slow you down completely, but it does knock you, and you lose control for a few seconds. So it's definitely an incentive not to bump into things. And the time limits aren't really that hard to achieve. But considering this, well, certainly conceived in 85 and maybe early 86 by the time it got out here, but considering its age, compare it to the likes of Cisco Heat that came out in 1991 or something. I mean, you know, it came out 5 years later. You know, and it was absolute shit. This game is far superior. So here we are with our choice of route. Go to Dallas or Houston. Let's go to Houston. That's it. Just slow down. Yeah, let's slow down and get some. It's difficult. It's just difficult to time because you see an upside, a roadside obstacle. You think, is it the gas station? But no. It's just a sign. That's just a. They're just the roadside obstacles are just a little indistinct until they're really close up. So you've got to go pretty slow if you're trying to get to the gas station. I mean, that's fair enough. As I said, so police car here. There's two things you can do. You can either slow right down. I guess 55 is the speed limit. You can either slow down until you've passed the police car, or you can try and blast your way past them. Hopefully you don't hit him. If you hit him, then he will pull you over and you'll be penalised for a few seconds. If you're not going fast enough when you pass him, you will get penalised anyway. You've really got to be going pretty flat out. Having said that, I'm losing a lot of time just going at this rubbish slow speed, so let's speed up. Oh, there he is. I knew that would happen. Yeah, here he is. Maybe I can go a bit faster. I'm not sure where the actual speed limit is. The safe speed limit to pass by him, but I'm past him now, so... Yeah, so the other cars are a little blocky, but I mean, at least there's a little bit of variety. So I'm going quite fast here, and it becomes quite hard to start dodging all the traffic. Yeah, I knew that would happen. And that's pretty much the game. I mean, I could show you more, but I think you get the idea. Like I said, there's day and night cycles as well. That's pretty well handled. So yeah, it looks fairly simplistic, but once you give it a fair go, I think it does have some qualities as a race game. I wouldn't say it was the best race game in the C64. But actually, I'm glad I gave it a go. So thanks to all the guys who suggested I take a look at it. So I'll give this 7.5 out of 10. It's a pretty decent race game. And there's not really that many great race games on a 64, but this is pretty decent. So 7.5 out of 10, and see you in the next video.